Imagine a night sky, just like any other. Stars twinkling, the moon casting its gentle glow. But then something new appears, not a star, not a plane. A flicker, a streak of impossible color, growing larger, faster, until it tears through our atmosphere like a fiery spear. It's not a meteor. It's a vessel, something otherworldly, and it crashes into the remote expanse of the Nevada desert, carving a scar into the earth that would be the first of many. Panic didn't erupt overnight. At first, it was just whispers, conspiracy theories, and grainy footage that was easily dismissed. But then, the incidents began. A research outpost in Siberia goes dark, its last transmission a chaotic mess of screams and strange, chittering sounds. A cargo ship vanishes without a trace in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Cities across the globe experience bizarre power surges, entire grids failing and then rebooting with no logical explanation. The world felt a growing sense of unease, a shadow creeping at the edge of our collective vision. Then we saw it. The first clear images came from Tokyo. It wasn't a monster in the way our movies had imagined. It was something far more terrifying. A being of pure, shifting energy, almost crystalline in its structure, but fluid like mercury. It had no face, no limbs in the conventional sense, yet it moved with a horrifying purpose. It towered over skyscrapers, its very presence warping the air around it, causing buildings to groan and twist as if under immense gravitational pressure. It didn't roar. It emitted a low-frequency hum that shattered glass for miles and caused a deep, primal fear in anyone who heard it. Tokyo fell into chaos not because of explosions, but because of this silent, relentless deconstruction. The entity seemed to be absorbing energy, drawing power from the city's grid, and as it fed, it grew, its destructive aura expanding. The world's militaries responded, of course. Fighter jets were scrambled, missiles were launched. But it was like throwing stones at a ghost. Conventional weapons passed right through it or were simply absorbed, making the entity shimmer with even greater power. It was like fighting a force of nature, an earthquake with a will of its own. After Tokyo, it was London, then Sao Paulo. The pattern was erratic, unpredictable. The entity, which the world's media had dubbed the Shimmer, wasn't conquering, it was consuming. It was terraforming, but not for us. It seemed to be breaking down our world on a molecular level, turning our ordered reality into something chaotic and alien. While the world was gripped by fear, a small, international team of scientists was working frantically in a hidden bunker deep beneath the Swiss Alps. This team was led by Dr. Aris Thorne, a theoretical physicist who had been laughed out of mainstream science for his radical theories on interdimensional travel and exotic energy forms. Alongside him was Dr. Lena Petrova, a brilliant xenobiologist, and Kenji Tanaka, a reclusive but genius programmer. They weren't soldiers, they were thinkers. They understood that you couldn't fight the Shimmer with brute force. You had to understand it. They realized the Shimmer wasn't malicious, not in a way we could comprehend. It was more like a single-celled organism following its instinct. It had arrived on Earth by accident, a tear in the fabric of space-time, and now it was simply trying to survive by converting our environment into one it could understand. Its destructive hum wasn't a war cry. It was a frequency, a form of communication, or perhaps even a tool it was using to reshape reality. The key, they believed, was resonance. If they could match the Shimmer's frequency, they might be able to influence it, communicate with it, or even control it. The problem was, its frequency was constantly shifting, adapting to the energy it consumed. It was a moving target on an unprecedented scale. Kenji worked day and night, designing an algorithm to predict the Shimmer's frequency shifts, while Lena studied its biological, or rather, its energetic properties from afar, trying to find a weakness, a baseline state. Their breakthrough came from an unexpected source. While analyzing seismic data from the Shimmer's arrival point, Paris noticed a faint, residual energy signature. It was a baseline frequency, the entity's home signal before it started consuming Earth's energy. This was their key. They didn't need to match its current chaotic frequency. They needed to remind it of its original one. The plan was audacious and incredibly dangerous. They had to build a device, a massive resonance fork, capable of broadcasting this specific pure frequency on a global scale. The components were scattered across the world, in labs and facilities that were now in ruins or in the path of the shimmer itself. What followed was a desperate global scavenger hunt. While the world's armies provided distractions, buying precious time, small, elite teams were dispatched to retrieve the necessary technology. It was a race against the clock as the shimmer, now larger and more powerful than ever, drifted towards North America. Finally, they had everything they needed. In the very desert where the alien had first landed, the team assembled the resonance fork. It was a strange, beautiful structure, a series of crystalline towers that hummed with contained power. As the shimmer appeared on the horizon, a shimmering, catastrophic storm of energy, Aris Thorn gave the order. The world held its breath. They activated the fork. A pure, clear tone, the opposite of the shimmer's chaotic hum, radiated outwards. At first, nothing happened. The shimmer continued its advance. Despair began to set in, but then the entity slowed. Its form, once fluid and aggressive, began to flicker. The destructive aura around it receded. The chaotic hum faltered, replaced by a resonance that matched the fork's tone. The colors within its form began to shift, swirling back to the impossible hues it had when it first arrived. It was working. They weren't destroying it. They were calming it. They were speaking to it in a language it understood. Lena realized they could do more than just calm it. By subtly modulating the frequency, they could guide it. Kenji's algorithms went into overdrive, creating a path of frequencies, a breadcrumb trail leading it away from Earth. Slowly, guided by the invisible hand of science, the shimmer began to rise. It drifted upwards, away from the scarred planet, shrinking as it ascended. It was no longer a monster, but a lost traveler being shown the way home. It moved back towards the upper atmosphere, towards the unseen cosmic tier from which it came. With a final silent flash of brilliant color, it vanished. Silence fell upon the desert. The hum was gone. The world was quiet. The cities were in ruins. The cost was immeasurable, but humanity had survived. Not through bombs or bullets, but through understanding. The team of scientists, once outcasts, became the saviors of the world. They had looked at the apocalypse, and instead of seeing an enemy to be destroyed, they saw a problem to be solved. And in doing so, they not only sent the visitor back to its distant galaxy, but also proved that our greatest weapon was, and always will be, our own intelligence and our capacity for reason. The rebuilding would be long, but now, when we look up at the stars, we do so not just with wonder, but with a newfound respect and a quiet confidence in our ability to face the unknown. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explorations into the incredible and the unknown. See you next time.